which is really simple.
Jolly good.
And then it says, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I'm so sure." And then that's it. We started the show. Yeah, you're going to do great.
Okay.
Welcome to the Other Small Gamer. I'm your host, Rob, and today I'm joined by a wonderful gentleman, Chris. Hi, Chris.
All right.
How are you? Are you excited? You ready to be here?
Yep.
Yeah? Good. Oh, make sure that's what we look like. You happy with that? Hey! So me and Chris are going to hang out and do some hobby. Although I realise at this stage I haven't actually put my hobby stuff near me. Like a fool, like a damn fool. And that's fine. So what are you going to be doing? I know what you're doing. This is for...
I am doing some details on my Space Wolf blood claws, which hopefully don't suck. As I'm doing 36 of them for a list.
Wow. So we were talking off air. Have you ever thought about doing research before you put an army together, or you think that's for suckers?
Whatever looks cool.
That's a good...
Sometimes it can just be a single model. If that single model looks cool.
It's getting done.
Yeah.
It's getting done.
Like the Solitaire, who is an amazingly brilliantly looking model. That's
great narrative too.
Great narrative, but sucks.
It does suck. Sucks so bad. It's one of the saddest moments in both of our lives, where we found out about
being ex-Harlequin players.
Ex, yeah. Wow, yeah, it hurts so much and it triggers me. Yeah, so me and Chris met actually at a 40k tournament this year, and you were running Harlequins, and I was running.
And you kicked my dick in.
Yeah, it was. I played you just before I played. Did I play? No, I didn't play.
We played game 3.
Yes, that was a fun day. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
that was a good day. I had a good day that day.
I'd just been annihilated by Lewis and his Tau, so it was a good day.
Generally, all good.
Yeah, and then I played Toby in game 4.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, that was good fun. He beat me, and then some guy brought 9 Lehman Russ tanks and Haywires and Fusion. Love Lehman Russ tanks.
Oh wait, yeah, you would love that matchup.
Yep.
Love your matchup.
Still took him 45 minutes to deploy.
Oh, Battle Brother Seraphim, thanks for subscribing. Although it's Seraphan. There you go. Hello everyone on Twitch, our YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube or you are watching on Facebook, we're live taking questions on Twitch. And as always, a massive shout out to everyone on Twitch who subscribes, like Battle Brother Seraphim, and everyone on Patreon, even if they have forgotten that they are Patreons. Just like Chris is.
I remembered.
Yeah, Chris has been a wonderful Patreon, so thank you very much for your support.
You're welcome.
The show really appreciates it. OJ says hi, so does Pepine. And then
Hello.
Horror Show Mini says Rourke and Sir Flukes a lot, who this weekend up in Agon, you know the big corn dragon?
Oh yeah, I've seen it on Discord.
Built it, painted it, took
That's
it.
immense.
It's a big fella.
Yeah.
It's a big fella.
Yeah. I'm assuming you have to cradle it like a child in order to paint it.
Who is this handsome young man? This is Chris. So I think that's a great start off point. Chris, who are you and how long have you been in the hobby?
So I started in the hobby about a year ago, and it was the gorgeous Toby with his custodes that got me into it. I played against his custodes with Scions.
You had Scions?
Yeah, he had some Scions with a knight, and we just threw some dice. I had no idea what I was doing, and the whole game came down to if I killed his one guardsman that was left on an objective, I won. If I didn't, then he did.
Wow. That's a great first game to get you in the hobby. I do wonder how many people have got into the hobby because of that first game, and then how many people have not because of that first game at the same time.
Yeah, I think if Harlequins had been my first game, then I probably wouldn't be in the hobby right now. But
if some of you just joined us, me and Chris are ex-Harlequin players, the pair of us. So if you want some 40k saltiness, get ready.
But we're not bitter.
I am. I'm so bitter.
Yeah, I was trying to be nice.
Oh, but you're too nice, I think, to be bitter about it. I think you genuinely aren't going to be bitter.
Bitter on the inside.
Greetings, Denise. Hope you're well. And OJ says, find out someone is bringing the Big Dragon to my first ever tournament in 2 weekends' time. Nice. That Big Dragon's got to be on your murder kill list. Aspron, evening. Got my evocators and then the spells on the painting table. Good. We'll talk about what we're painting in a minute. Thoughts, and Pepin says, thoughts on the new Chaos Space Marines. Okay, should we talk about that? So, Blackstone Fortress.
Amazing. The sculpts are absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
That Chaos Lord, I need to make that into a Space Wolf character because I think his stance and the quality of him is just, it needs to be doing justice, and he can't be a heretic.
he's gonna have to be a heretic in some armies, I think. I got to say, hashtag so bitter right now. That's us.
Yeah.
I think I love the the cultists. I think they look amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I counted that there was actually 7 different sculpts on the cultists, and the rest look like it's just from like multi-kit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they look really good. I don't know what I do with those twins.
You don't know what you do with them. Oh, so you're currently painting up. Do you want to tell the guys? And then they've missed it.
Space Wolves. So I'm trying to get ready for the LCO.
Last chance open, which is in January.
January, yep. And going a bit unusual, I'm going for 36 Blood Claws with Ragnar, the main man. Let's keep it competitive, eh?
Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
So, best I can hope for is an army nom, I think.
And that's what you're aiming for?
Yeah. If I can get 2 wins out of it, I'll be pretty happy.
So you're in our Discord, right?
I am in the Discord.
Have you posted up some pictures of them before?
I believe I've put this guy up.
Nice.
And, but I think that was a couple of weeks ago. But I can go through and add some more pictures.
People like that. Can we follow you on Instagram?
You can indeed.
Where can we follow you?
Serbitor.
Serbitor. There we go.
Yeah.
Serbitor. So Chris, in my opinion, if anyone cares, and I know some of you guys have seen me paint, so you probably won't care. But Chris is an excellent painter, and it's totally worth following. Especially as you've only been in the hobby a year, you say.
Yeah.
So that pisses me off. I'm just going to just flat say it. Can you express to me how you got so good so quick?
Yep. Cold to paint.
Cold to paint.
I've done a couple of their courses now, and they are very, very good. So, did the infantry course, which is focused around airbrushing.
Mm-hmm.
And so going through and building up highlights and shades and making things look more interesting, pin washing, how to do transfers properly.
I've never heard the term pin washing before. That's new to me. It's a new experience.
Gloss varnish. When you touch like a wash to it or something like that, it will go through and run along all the edges.
Wow.
So on these, it's a bit difficult to see, but these have an oil wash, so they've got like a brown, so they look like a dirty effect inside the...
Oh, it does.
The creases and stuff like that.
That looks awesome.
So like all down backs and legs and stuff. Obviously very interesting for people that can't see all this.
Well, they can see some pictures on your Instagram.
There are, yeah. There's plenty on there.
Instagram is just Servitor. I can't find it. Pepin's looking. No, Servitor with a B. I'll type it in the chat so you guys can... Servitor. There you go. Nailed it. Hello, Sanice. Blackstone gives me hope for multi-part boxes after buying Silver Tower out of Hobby Lust and ended up with a bunch of half squads. I'm wait. Even all about to go catch up on the stat show, Laveau. I hope you enjoy that. I was expressing to Chris the stress I was having with creating the stats video before. What people don't see, but do hear me complain about.
Yeah.
And where are the quarter-based paint? Says Dead Dwyer.
So they've went to one last month, and they were saying that they've now got 4 sites that they're going to be doing them on, which is Firestorm Games in Cardiff, Incom Gaming at Colchester, I think it is, Element Games, and the new Dark Sphere site in London.
I didn't know about that place.
So they're looking at doing, I think, one a month starting next year. So with different focuses on them based on either like brush skills, infantry. Sorry, I think they're changing that one to army painting, so that's going to include infantry and vehicles, and like bust painting. So looking at skin tones, leathers, non-metallic metal. So
really good.
Yeah.
You actually being called bullshit in the chat. Bean
Mine.
says you've only been paying a year. Bullshit. Bean is Pepin, I think the Cottle Painter actually. You said that they were going over to Australia soon.
They are, yeah. I didn't really pay much attention to whereabouts they were doing lessons because I'm not in Australia.
Well, Pepin's Sydney based. I'm pretty certain I've got that right. So
I think they're definitely doing Sydney, and I think Adelaide may have been
I've been to
on there
Adelaide
as well.
Adelaide's got this really cool park where they've got like different trees from all around the world planted in it.
Right.
But from like, well, I don't want to say hundreds of years ago, but like a while. So they're all grown up trees.
Yeah.
But it's amazing walking through it because there's so many different trees. It's really awesome. I know that's not a great story for everyone on the Twitch chat, but it's a story nonetheless. So you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Random tangent number 1.
Yeah, Mr. Kapowski says, I'd love to make it to one of their courses. So you massively would advise a Cult of Paint course.
Absolutely. The two guys that run it, Henry Steele and Andy Wardle.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Wardle's got, I think, 2 Slayer swords and about 13 GD trophies.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember Henry's stats, but both of them are great guys. And they've got a signature series airbrush that's coming out soon, or is on Kickstarter at the moment.
Are they?
So it's a Harder and Steenbeck brush, one of their infinities and the evolution, but just spec the way that they would have it.
Okay.
So the right needle size and stuff.
Okay. Do you think that's going to be built for starter painters, or is it geared towards people that have a little bit more knowledge?
Both. So the Evolution's the slightly cheaper one, and then there's the Infinity, which is their best brush, basically.
Okay.
But there's not a huge difference in price between the two. So it's not just I suppose it is a rebrand, but they're not the ones selling it.
Yeah.
They're not really making anything off of it.
They're just sticking their name on it.
Yeah. So they just want
the product.
Yeah. So it's just like a what they call a signature series. So it's how they would spec it.
That's cool.
Which I think's pretty cool. Plus it's black and gold. It looks sexy as fuck.
Which always helps.
Yeah.
Mr. Kabasi says, Andy's a painting hero of mine.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
Me too. If you've
Bruce,
seen this Rogel Dawn, that is how non-metallic should look.
does it look good? Rogel Dawn is a model some people don't like, but I love Rogel Dawn. Do you? Yeah, no.
I think as a character, I think he sucks. But
really?
As a
what? As a model? No, wait. As a
model is looks amazing. I think it's brilliant. The stance that they've got for him is just right because he's more of I think of him more of as like a backfield commander type.
Yeah, coward. You mean?
So yeah. Not like the mighty Russ, who would obviously be on the front line,
making all the mistakes he could,
breaking Magnus's back.
Yeah. Even though
Magnus did everything wrong.
Even though his dad told him, his dad said to him, "Just go and get him." And then Russ was like, "Don't tell me what to do, Dad."
Yep.
Yeah. The Horus Heresy series broken down into one sentence. Don't tell me what to do, Dad.
That goes for all the Primarchs, right?
You are?
That's pretty much the story with all the Primarchs.
Literally, that's the point. Hold on. Bruce, how you doing, Bruce? Hi, Denise. So we're hobbying. Chris is hobbying Space Wolves. I actually am hobbying, and while I've been talking, or while I've been talking to you about this, I actually have decided, because you're a great painter, and I would like to go and learn to be a better painter. That's one of the things I'm going to try and do. And I'm currently building an Orc Mecha Dreadnought body.
That sounds awesome.
Correct. But look how intensely cool the Mecha Dread Shunter weapon is for just a level of detail and coolness. You could spend all day painting that, I imagine. So I'm going to do some hobbying.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, yeah? So get ready, gentlemen, because I am going to that might be the next every Tuesday. What's Rob Hobby? He's still painting that one Orc Mecha Dread.
2 years' time.
Yeah, 2 years' time. I've done blue! Because the Orc Codex is out now. I'm quite excited about that. I don't think it's going to be wonderful, but we'll see. The Visit, I'm from Australia and I've never met anyone from Adelaide, so my theory is it must be great there and no one leaves. It's real nice. I liked it.
I can't say I've never been.
Yeah, it was alright. DeBolt, how you doing? Arkian, Russ is a dog. Wow, I'm so sorry.
Harsh words.
It's what you've got to deal with while you're on the show.
Yeah.
You've got to deal with other opinions.
There are no other opinions. There's mine and there's people that are wrong.
Sunny says Russ only kills his brothers. Mario, I don't play 40k, pure AOS here, but this box is intriguing. I doubt the Warhammer game part is any good. I dislike the AOS Warhammer Quest games, own both. The rules are too boiled down. Any idea how it plays? So I would argue, and I don't know if you feel the same, Chris, but this is my thoughts and feelings. The box sets that they do, talking about Blackstone Fortress, are amazing as a box of models. Especially if you want to be a painter, or you just want something that's really nice and disparate.
Or you like chopping shit up and putting it back together how you want it.
Exactly. I got to say that for me, I'm very excited about that, especially for those unique sculpts. Like the special characters, and because I'm really into humans in 40k.
Yep.
So I've got a big Astra Militarum army, more Forge World based than the Citadel stuff, and I just like humans in it. I like their role. I love the Inquisition models and all that jazz. So I'd be very tempted to get the Blackstone Fortress, and never ever will I read the rules for the box set. In 1,000 years, I will just pick him up. I'll probably throw it away.
So, from what I can gather, it's essentially the same rule set, isn't it, between the Silver Tower and...
Yes, it's 40k Silver Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't like Silver Tower, you're probably not going to like Blackstone Fortress.
But then I also think very few people actually played Silver Tower. They were just like, oh, look, all these cool new models.
True.
And then they played with them. And that's basically how I feel all the box sets are, which I'm not stressed by.
It's likely what's going to happen is you're going to go through and have... Everyone's going to jump on the box because it's got cool models.
Great.
And then they're just going to release those models anyway.
Yeah.
So there's all these people that have got a load of books and cardboard that are no use to them.
No, because they don't use them.
And, we could have saved yourself a couple of quid and waited.
Well, no, I mean, usually you get such a good deal with the box for the models.
But if you only wanted some of them...
Yeah, that's true. Although they're all brand new models, right? We've not seen any of them before, so...
Nope.
I'm very tempted. I think it might be on my list. Have you guys checked out White India Ink? It's a great painting tool. Have you?
No.
Let's do this. White India Ink. At Amazon. Oh, it's Winsor & Newton calligraphy bowl. What does it do? Never heard of it. Vulcan most listened to. Have you guys checked out? We haven't checked out Horror Show Minis, but we will. Coat of Paint are doing classes in Canberra and Melbourne, not Sydney.
That was it.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. Pepino, I assume that they're next to each other on that continent-spanning country that you live on. Can't you just drive there? And then this really comes and goes, no, Rob, that's like a 27-hour drive, you dick.
It's just around the corner.
LLV's asking, Chris, is that a Raphael brush you're using? If not, what's your brush of choice?
So the ones I'm using at the moment are the Artis Opus brushes. which were done by Seed Studios. Came in a nice little box.
Wow, that is fancy. You know, when you cracked it out a minute ago, I felt very inadequate.
They're really nice brushes. I really, really like them. The box is just so that I don't fuck them up when I put them in my bag.
It's a nice box, though. Like, I think anytime you can crack open a box, that if I showed my girlfriend the box, she'd be like, "Oh, that's better than yours." Like, yeah, she would just go, "Why have you just?"
Henry refers to it as wooden box wanker, but yeah. But I think that's more of a dig at Andy, who always has his with him. So
okay.
But yeah, those brushes are really nice. They did a Kickstarter for them, and I'm not sure whether they're on to general sale quite yet. But the Kickstarter smashed it.
Yeah, did really well.
So once they've gone through and shipped all of the waves on that, I'm guessing they'll just be available through somewhere like Element.
Okay. Purchase.
They are Rosemary and Co. brushes that have been rebranded, basically.
Rosemary and Co.
Yeah. But they have been up to the specifications that Seed Studios went through and done. So handle shape, length of the bristles, fullness of the thing. So they paint really nice. They hold paint really well.
I sometimes think painters, and as you're describing it, it's a lot like visiting, and this might trigger you because I'm not sure if you're into it, and same with everyone at home, so I'm sorry. It's a lot like visiting Olanders in Harry Potter, where you're like, the fullness of the... it's got a falcon core.
No, it is.
I've got like Hagrid's paintbrushes.
So... So there's loads of others, like I've seen some people say like the Broken Toad brushes are really good. Loads of people still like the Winsor & Newtons.
Yeah.
Some will only buy GW brushes, which are, if I remember correctly, Winsor & Newtons that have had the handle ripped off and another one put on.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
But you pay 3 times the price for it.
Must be a fancy handle, right?
Yeah.
It's made of dragon phoenix bone.
Yeah. Dipped in a virgin's blood, which must be hard to find in Nottingham.
Well, it's not very difficult to do at Warhammer World, though.
Oh, yeah. Ready supply.
Just have the stuff, right? I meant that nicely. I'm joking. There's the Crew Cowboy in the Blackstone box.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about him. And the boob window. The Elder Ranger.
Yes. I'm going to be getting that box. I'm just saying. That box is cool. Silver Tower is actually playable when you're having a Billy No Mates night, says Aspiration. That's such an admittance. And like, he's like, fuck you guys. I played that game on my own and I had a great time. I haven't read the rules for any of the 30k box games, Warhammer Quest games, or the Imperial Night games, says Mr. Kowalski, but has yet bought all of them. What's this waiting thing you talk of? Because we can't just wait to buy that.
Me neither.
No, for the Assassination Force, the box game was like the price of just 3 assassins. It comes out with all 4 plus Terminator, Sorcerer, Cultists, and a trio of Marines. Yeah. Just plundered them for the models, says Mr. Kapowski. Yep. You can use it to airbrush highlights via underpaint. So you can use that, that stuff in your ink. This might make more sense to you. You can use it to airbrush highlights via underpainting.
Right, okay, so with the Cold Paint approach to infantry, it's pre-highlight using grey and white, generally Tamiya paint, because Tamiya paint is one of the best to use with an airbrush. And then you go through and put colours over the top, and because you're using thin, fairly transparent layers, you get that the colour gradient already in there.
Okay.
So it gives you the bright areas and the dark areas, which is really easy to produce with the airbrush, because you can pick your angle of
attack,
a light.
Oh, right, nice light. Sorry.
So if you spray just from that angle, those areas that the paint hits will be the ones that are the light.
Okay.
So you can then go through and work round on those.
All right, I'm convinced. I don't fully understand everything you said, but I think if I was to do a course, maybe I would. But all I know now is I want to paint this guy really well, this Mecha Dread fella that I'm building.
Getting the bulk of that done with an airbrush will probably be easier than trying to use a really big brush.
You haven't seen how big my brushes are. They're so big.
Comes out with a decorating brush. I got this, lads.
I got this.
Doesn't fit in the pot.
The airbrush brushes, how they compare to the WN Series 7? Question mark. Also high level.
Very good. I think the Artis Opus brushes hold paint a little bit better because they have a bit of a fuller brush head to them. But both are really good.
My friend Jonathan gave me some advice when he came over, and I think he's a pretty cracking painter. Plus, Oscar, if you've seen Oscar's paint and stuff at Age of Sigmar, he was just like, use big brushes, don't be scared. Because eventually the tip is the same size on all of the different brushes. I was like, that's good. And for that week when he was here with me, I would say monitoring me, my painting improved greatly. But then it got back to having to do stuff for tournaments, and as you guys saw on the stream, and you saw, straight into the pot, straight on, came out. It's like my dark side. It was just like, don't look at me while I do this, but it has to be finished.
That was painful. I'm not going to lie.
Well, it was done. That was the answer. And that's kind of...
Still look better than half the shit that you see at tournaments.
Yes, sometimes. There's a trick to that as well, isn't there? Like, knowing how to paint fast and doing things.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't paint very fast, which is why an airbrush is really good for me, because it allows me to put a lot of paint on a lot of models in quite a short space of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the detail work that then goes through and takes
Forever.
Yeah.
And why we don't see tons of Horde armies at tournaments, just because people can't be asked.
Pretty much.
Broken Toner Ace says to Bolt. Bruce Hammer, so what would be your paint of choice is another question. What I'll do, I'm going to fly through all these and we'll answer a couple of those. Aspiron also said when he played Silver Tower, he won on his own, which I really respect. Question, tutorials on YouTube typically tend to airbrush. How do you get this effect and quality without using an airbrush? You can't. High Honoured first.
You can.
Can you?
But it involves probably more time than you'd be willing to spend on an individual model, because you'd have to put in your highlights with a brush and then glaze down so that you're getting that smooth transition between the two, which, could be 20, 30 coats to go through and do the glaze, because you're doing it in a very thin paint to be able to get that transition line gone. I'd just airbrush.
Yeah, I think airbrushing is the and I think you can tell when stuff has been started with an airbrush, but it's such a clean paint job, like initially, that I think you can really.
I mean, I was amazed when I went through and just putting the primer layer on, just how smooth and thin that it can be. It means that you just lose no detail on the model.
Oh.
And when you've got a finely detailed model, that's
pretty important.
Yeah, and getting that smooth coat to start with, because if that's crap, then anything you put on top is going to be crap.
I think my biggest issue is what I've done is I've already started a lot of armies. So in case you guys are interested, I'm chopping the bits out for a Mecha Dread. But obviously I've got an Orc army that's like it's a competitive Orc army. Competitive Orc army is my tournament Orc army. Now this model's beautiful, and I would love to spend time painting it really well.
Mm-hmm.
But I've now used a set of techniques to do my Orc army. I say set of techniques. I put paint on them, and that's why you laughed, because I said techniques, right? I put paint on them. But let's say I wanted to go on a course and spend loads of time, practice loads of things on making this really nice. I feel like I just worry it will stand out. I don't. You're here, right? I'm
probably.
like, Chris, my army's going to look shit if I paint this different. Please help me. No, can you see what I mean?
You're saying you want me to commission paint the rest of your army?
No, what I'm saying. No, because I would like to learn and do better. What I'm saying is do you not like? And I'm sure maybe some people at home are in the same spot. Do you? Because you obviously start the ground up, like.
Yep.
But I'm adding to already existing armies in a lot of ways. Have you got any advice to combat that? And is anyone in the Twitch chat?
I suppose it depends how bad the first lot is, of whether they could be salvaged.
Stylized is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, to be fair. I mean, I know that from when I started my Harlequins towards the end, there's quite a big difference in skill. So you're always going to have, I suppose, that bit of where you'll have that transition.
Yeah.
And some's going to look good and some not so much.
Yeah, I think that's really my issues, especially because some elements of my army, like my mech guns, for instance, I don't think for a very long time, so any money I have is going to be put towards the show. I won't have any money to replace them. Yeah. I'm also replacing them, like, just so I can spend more time painting them nicer.
Yeah, I mean, you can go through and strip the paint. But yeah, it's very difficult.
Like, LOV's just put the answer that I think people want, which is, like, get a new army.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about that as a process, that would be a new Khorne army, a new Nurgle army, a new Seraphon army.
Yeah.
That's just the start. A new Mechanicum army. I really wish I got into airbrushing when I'd done my Mechanicum, because I've used the orange that Games Workshop do. And then it's also moving away from Games Workshop paints, because, like...
Not necessarily?
Not necessarily, but in some cases, like, the orange that I went and picked was the Jukaira orange. But now, if I went back, I would go and find a third-party company and find some, like, gloriously bright orange that was really offensive.
Yeah.
And I can't now. And, yeah, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, I think you're in a difficult position where... And by the way, guys, this is hilarious to see what's in here. It's seeing the other side of...
You haven't seen... Yeah, most people haven't seen the collection, have they?
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
Yeah, there's a lot.
I like when I just randomly remember I have stuff. I'm like, oh, this.
I wondered where that was.
Somewhere I've lost an exalted Greater Demon of Khorne. Somewhere. I spent a whole half an hour looking for him the other day. I was like, where is he?
Half hour, that gets you through, like, one wall. But yeah, I mean, you're in a position where you've got so much stuff that I don't know how you'd go about you.
Maybe sell it.
The other
and then
way
buy
is
it.
the other way would, well, yeah, you could do that, or the other one would be that you start a slow process of, like, replacing.
Yes.
So that you'd go through and you could perfect how you're doing, because you're kind of focusing on, say, like, one mech gun and crew.
Yeah.
And getting those to a standard that you want, and then you can. So you're taking your time over it. I think Toby last time when he was on was saying that he wanted to get into AOS so that you could have, like, a painting army. One that you can just
goes through.
He can slowly build up because he's got his custodes that can go through and play.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole purpose of the push of having an army for a year. Because, like, it got suggested in the chat. Now I've got an army that I can take to tournaments for Age Sigmar and for 40k. So I've got the Knights, and they're all sorted and ready to go. I don't have to stress. So, like, looking at this and just thinking, this is awesome. I want to spend a long time painting this. That's great. I don't have any pressure, right? Unless I want to, like. But I've always bought models to play with. That's kind of like they're toys for me to do battle with, as opposed to toys for me to paint with. But that doesn't mean that I don't love that element of it as well. It's just time, right? Time, and then also there's a lot to paint in this room.
If anyone thinks that they've got a large pile of shame, you haven't.
Shit. It's right, okay. And we'll move on from that conversation. I literally just, Dasmore says, I've literally just been talking about this with a few mates, how I use an airbrush to get the base, then I do all the other bits by hand, trying to match the airbrush look. It's killer trying to improve mid-project as it makes you hate your older stuff, says Dick Robin. I just go for it. It lets you see your progression and how much better you've got, Mr. Kapowski says. I respect that. If you use the same colours, then you can develop your skill with an army, also keeping its tabletop standard. You can add sharp highlights at the end to tie it all together. Get better at painting is difficult and takes work. You get proficient at a certain technique or colour, then you have to actively steer away from that and work on other stuff you shit at. It takes discipline, like Francis Pepin. And he does loads of great painting over in Oz. Turn the camera around. Never. You can't see the horror that's in here. Any tips on airbrushing metallics? And then the suggestion has been used Vallejo metal colour.
Yep, metal colour Vallejos are gorgeous, especially gunmetal.
Especially gunmetal?
Yeah.
Okay. What gauge needle do you use in your airbrush, says Dasmore?
0.4.
0.4, good. And then
for everything.
How long do your Legion of Asgore take start to finish? Well, I actually started my this is the other issue I have as well. My Legion of Asgore army were a Warhammer Fantasy battle army that I started basically when I got into the hobby. Pretty much straight away. So for me, like I'm quite chuffed with that, like as a start, and I know where I can improve it beyond where it is because it's just base colours and washes. So I know I can add some highlights, which is cool. But you know, I feel like I'm entrenched in having to paint the rest of the army now the same way because you know I don't want these 30 dwarfs to look different to those 30 dwarfs. They'll look weird. You know, but maybe I should because I was actually.
But then you shouldn't let that stop you from going through and actually painting something nicely.
I agree. Well, I was actually talking about this the other day. Well, not the other day, but it was when I was playing my orcs. Hi, Aceface, by the way. Hope you're doing well. So you know, like army cohesion. So I imagine you're doing 35 blood claws.
36. Yeah.
36. So, yeah, having 36 blood claws, you know, I'm sure you're going to paint them all differently, but within the same, like, they're effectively going to be the same, really, for the paint scheme. But I had this with my orcs, and I was thinking, what if, because what I did was I rimmed the bases different colours.
Yep.
As a way to try and, like, go, okay, well, that's orange squad and that's green squad. But what if I just painted up 10 guys different to the other, 30 guys to the different other 30 guys? And that could be my way to improve.
Yep.
But wouldn't it look weird on the tabletop? Like, I wanted to do it with Death Guard. I wanted, like, an orange squad, because I love, there's this orange paint scheme I've seen someone do, and it looks amazing. And I also want to do a yellow squad.
Yeah.
But do you think that would look odd in an army? Like, as a competitive army? And how would you try and tie it together?
So you've got to have certain colours that would go through and run as a theme, I think.
Like, would you do like metallics, do you think?
So whether that be metallics or, say, for example, taking Space Marines as a bad example, but say Harlequins.
Yeah.
All the Harlequins have got big flowy ribbons. So I'd say all of the ribbons are going to be this particular green. And then if you've got some models that maybe look a bit cack, you could go back and redo those ribbons to match the rest of the army. So you can get that kind of cohesion.
Yeah. That could be a way.
That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
If you have a few colours carrying over and the same bases, it should be fine.
Yeah.
It works for Craftworld aspects. Matches the pop colours, weapon glows, etc.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking using like the mechanical elements to be the same.
Yeah, and they're easy ones to go back into old models and just redo.
Yes.
In order to be able to get that, perhaps improve the standard of your
painting,
of your previous endeavours.
To tie it together, you want to stand out spot colour and cohesive bases. But Pepin says it looks weird. My mate did it with Stormcast, looked like a fucking Power Rangers. Which, yeah, like I can completely see how it would look really odd. But at the same time, like I know, like if you go to the story, we'll take the Horus Heresy, for example, they were all in the same colour livery, like, depending on their legion. But it would not be uncommon for salamanders to be battling alongside their Raven Guard brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So, you would have this, and almost the same mark power armor pretty much.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, I just always thought about it, because, I don't know, maybe I feel a little bit constrained on the tabletop. Like, it would be awesome to paint look at Ace's army, like, if he's still in the chat, with his 1,000 Sons, they look amazing.
Yeah,
really nice. The blue looks just really, really cool. And I can see why he would want to do it across the whole range. But something like Orcs, it would be cool if there was a bunch of fellas with blue skin. 30 of those boys, they've got blue skin, they're from somewhere.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because I want to paint 120 guys. I quite like painting infantry, by the way, like big hordes of infantry. Like, it's pretty cool. I really like it. I think it's really fun. Anyway,
I don't like building that many people.
Oh, okay.
Like, I've got lots of different marks of armour, and they're not all having chainswords, even though technically they're all chainswords.
What are you going to give them?
So I have the Grey Slayer axes, which I think look really nice.
I think they look great too.
Which are those ones. I've got the chain axes, which are from the Sons of Horus Reaver squads. So yeah, the actual bodies are different as well.
Are they?
Yeah. So there's the Sons of Horus Reaver squad, the Mark IV Assault Marines from the Forge World, and there's also some of the Despoiler squads, the 2 pistol guys. I'm just going through and modifying those.
Awesome. Because haven't you got a commitment to make with it? You've told me that there's something you're doing with these, the 36.
So yeah, well, for the whole army, it's going to be that there's no duplicate bear heads.
There you go.
But not every single model is going to have a bear head, because that would be madness.
What?
I don't think Games Workshop even do that many heads.
I don't think they... do you know what they have done, which I'm very interested in? Right, actually, I'll answer that in a second. I'll just quickly read this out. See you later, Denise. Hope you're well. Zao Knight, by the way, I'm the other way. I love building and converting, and I hate painting. Zyko...
Oh, don't get me wrong. I love building and converting models. If you look on my Instagram, you'll see some of my like Wolfen and stuff like that I've gone through and spent way too much money on. And I've also got some Storm Raven wings for my Stormfang, because I think the Flying Brick looks fucking turd.
How do you feel about the man on his sleigh?
I will never ever go through and build that sleigh. I do have it.
Yeah.
And I quite like Logan himself. I think he is quite a good looking model. But never ever will I go through and put that shit turd on the table.
Yeah, I like it.
What? It looks...
Like,
sorry, I nearly...
it's okay. You're allowed to
full
swear.
rant then.
The full rant. I don't know, man.
It's awful, man. Come on.
Well, it's space fantasy. That's what they say it is. It's space fantasy.
No.
And I take that over some of the Eldar units any day, I think. Like, it's...
But they're dirty Xenos.
I don't know. Like, I get where they were going with it. Is it great? No, it's not great. Do I hate it? I don't think I hate it.
Also, the rules for it are rubbish.
That's the double down, right?
Let's make a character that can be targeted.
Yes, really easily.
Yeah.
And isn't that good?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something, it is good. Look at this guy. He looks awesome.
That's cool.
This is an orc mech, by the way, who I think lives in... he lives in here. Oh my god, I can't wait to paint this model. Orcs are great.
I can't wait to kill him.
Fried Frog, I'm just starting 140 clan rats. Infantry is a bit daunting to paint, to say the least. Just do him in one go, man. Just be like, this is all the silver or whatever colour you're doing, and then you never have to look back once you've done that colour.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through and get mine all built. I had these first 5 that I was using as like a test base to just get my scheme down. But yeah, then after that it's just big batch.
Yeah,
get it knocked out.
I love converting, says Mr. Kapowski. I hate building. I'm on day 4 of building 3 nights, and I just want it to end. Hey, Tom. There's old Rograx, the tournament champ himself. You've got something to say to him, right? Because Chris watches the show, Tom. Bit of something being told to you right now. Get ready for this. Tell him. Go on, tell him.
What, that Space Wolves aren't rubbish?
Yeah, and also stop making you feel bad about your army.
Yeah, whenever I'm painting them.
Who tunes in to watch on a Thursday.
Yeah, highlight of the week. Sit down, watch that, paint some Space Wolves, and then just hear Tom go through and badmouth them. Makes me feel good, all warm and cuddly inside.
Well, I'm sure. I wonder if you played.
Still love his comments though. To be fair.
Yeah, Tom's excellent. Tom's fantastic, and the winner of the Blood and Glory event this weekend.
Congratulations!
So well done, Tom. I can't wait to hear all about that this weekend. So that's going to be quite fun this Thursday. I'm looking forward to that. Really am. Hi there is only Joe. Hope you know it. Joe, are you coming to the night tournament? You should. He's getting married soon. Probably hasn't got time. Unless you get the Space Wolves pack box, that thing has over 50 heads in it. This is a Space Wolves pack box. What the hell? What's that?
I'm unaware of such a thing.
Tom, if you know what it is, let us know. Ace Face, my high fleet has improved through the years by just changing technique, moving from dry brushing to blending, but sticking to the colours still gives you a chance to improve.
Yeah.
I'm always trying new ways to improve. Cheers as well for the compliment on the Suns have been real mission to paint, so it makes it worth when people like my stuff.
Yeah, they look stunning, mate.
They look great, mate. They look amazing, and I love the conversions and stuff as well. It's a cool army to paint, though. Like it's got so much to it, hasn't it?
Yeah,
detail wise. Could you make the chariot into an orc bike, maybe? Oh, a looted chariot. Yes!
Pulled by bikes.
Yeah.
With grot riders.
Just grots everywhere. As many grots as you can get. That dude just has a Centaur complex. Oh, you've got...
I looked like him for many years.
On a first, slap some scrap on the side of it, have some squigs pulling the chariot. We could do that. Slightly off topic, my vision is like the Matrix, all these numbers and stats running through my mind. I was thinking a cool challenge would be people taking some the non-played armies or even shit armies and doing well with them. Oh, he's talking about the AOS stats that we've been doing recently, which are fantastic fun and really give some context to talking about armies that I'm finding as a commentator, because
I found that with the 40k stats.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting to go through and see some of the win rates.
Yes, for the different armies.
Yeah, and especially when you broke it down into faction versus faction.
Yeah. This is on 40kstats.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some of that was quite interesting reading. But I don't think it's got a huge amount of data in it.
No, it's got quite a bit. But also, and I was talking about this only yesterday, it's under ITC. And now I don't, before I start this, I don't have a problem with ITC in any way, shape or form. But what I do have is that I think 40k is in a little bit of a dilemma with its mission packs. That they're varied, they're separate, they're disparate. It's like every event is different. Mm-hmm. And I just find it a little bit confusing about how we're playing the missions. Whereas when I flip over to Age of Sigmar and just think about that, I'm like, okay, cool. I always think about the missions when I'm building my army, as opposed to how do I beat Eldar. But
didn't you have that debate last night about AOS and the realms and the packs and all that kind of stuff, and not knowing in advance?
Yeah, well, that is really like blowing AOS up into the 40k, where it's like it's adding that every event is different because there's too many random elements with the mission packs. So that, what I've seen from 40k is I don't want that to transport over to AOS. And what I would like is for AOS mission packs to be brought into 40k in chapter approved. I think that would be excellent, because the scenarios they kill a bit. They just make you feel like your blood claws. Like if I was to say to you, look, your blood claws can win the game on turn 3, not by beating your opponent, but by just like jumping onto the objectives and like holding on to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a much more. I don't know. I find it a much more interesting game. That's how I feel anyway. Whereas 40k just seems to be about just killing your opponent's stuff.
Which is also fun.
Oh, great fun.
Unless you're the one that's...
Well, like, so the first game we ever played, like, it was just over in the first turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel great about that, because I didn't feel like you had an opportunity to test, like, your army versus my army.
Well, no, because everything was dead.
It's
one of the first parts about winning is don't die.
That helps.
And yeah,
it really helps.
The rest is history.
Yeah, it was a good game though.
It was very good fun.
When I'm comparing things to old art, everything looks rubbish, says Tom. That's his issue.
Well, it's broken as fuck, isn't it? So.
Oh, plain old Gavin, thanks for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate that loads. Just give my wolves decent drop pods and they'd be amazing. Says Tom. Tom, by the way, leading up to the Spiritual Codex, was all sorts of thrilled and excited.
Yeah, I still think they got some really good tools. I don't think that 8th edition is particularly kind to assault armies. No, I think it. And every change they make just seems to make gun lines better. So, like fly keyword changes.
Even though they seem to be trying their hardest to make them better. They're like, we want to help you against shooting. Yeah. Can't deeps right now. Yeah. Oh, that's not helping me.
It's like, poor Blood Angels.
Are they that bad still? I don't think they're that bad, are they? Do you think?
I don't know. The whole thing's like about deep strike and a lot of, like, think of like Sanguinary Guard and the Death Company. It's all about having those jetpacks.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, but I can't get over this like
these 5
nurgling
crops
in front of me.
Yeah, all the nurglings.
There's a scarab in front of me.
Yeah, the change to fly keyword seems beyond silly. That would be a fantastic orc conversion, says Dr. Vulcan. Anyone know Tom's Twitter? It's at Rograx. There you go. Hey, Edie Mac, hope you're well. Hi, Edie. Hi, Liam, by the way. Plain old Gavin, thanks for subscribing. Mr. Klasky. In 25 years, I've never known 40k to have good missions. Playing AOS for the first few times was an eye-opener. Yes. Have they explained the fly special rule change yet? I'm fairly sure I saw a Space Marine Supreme Command attachment of Blood and Glory this weekend.
Was it 3 Smash Captains?
Yeah, potentially. AOS missions are all built on the original Mo pack. They are NLP. I think that the fact Games Workshop didn't have a hand in the early dev of AOS actually made it a better game. Less about just killing the other army, more about the missions, which I couldn't agree with more.
Mm-hmm.
So, the packs were independently created, because you wouldn't have been around with the hobby maybe at that point?
No, but I've heard you talk about it before, because
Yeah.
I still listen to the
AOS
show, because at some point it's inevitable that I'll get into it, but at the moment I really need to finish an army.
Yeah, that's the future. Let's all finish an army. Let's all do it. What is everyone working on, by the way? So will this be your first... This isn't your first fully painted army, because your Harlequins are...
They were...
Painted?
They had some paint on them.
Just like the Harlequins next to me. I opened the box and people are like, I can smell the paint. That's fresh. That's so fresh.
Yeah, so they would just get the 3 colour minimum done, and there was some freehand work done on those, but to be honest, the GT Heat kind of lost my love for Harlequins, because it's all good and well if you can go through and have a game that's good, but when you're tabled twice on the bounce, it's kind of, that's not fun anymore.
Yes.
And I think that certain armies work better at certain skill levels as well. So, like, on our Wednesday group, I could pretty much win most of the games. I think I had like 2 losses, and both of those were to Toby.
Yeah.
But then you take it up into the next level, and that's it.
You're in a different world.
Yeah, once you get into the truly competitive lists, I don't think you've really got an answer to that. Particularly as most of your defensive stuff requires you to go first.
And what's really interesting about building for, like, if we're talking about 40k, but you can do comparisons with your Sigma as well. If you're talking about 40k, you're talking about the Castellan list with Guard,
The
right?
list.
Yeah, the list. And if you're talking about AOS, then you're talking about Witch Elves, you're talking about Leaders of the Gash with regenerating the Reapers. And what's interesting is you can build lists to probably fight both of those two armies. But the issue is not that. It's just you're going to be drawn against an Italian guy with 180 boys. And you're like, well, this just isn't meant to be here. Yeah. Or take me as an example. I'm the outlier. Like, people go, cool, I've got a Sylvaneth army. I'm ready to play Nighthaunt. I'm ready to play Daughters of Cain. And then they go, Chaos Dwarves.
What the hell do they do?
These aren't meant to be here. So, like, having that mix up, and actually looking at the 40k stats like you were talking about, and talking about Ace, he's obviously got that Thousand Suns army. Thousand Suns are really underrepresented in the 40k meta. So, like, as in the population of players using Thousand Suns, but their win rate's really, really high.
Yeah.
And same thing. I imagine people are struggling against that, right?
But if I remember right, they get mostly like 3 or 4 wins. They don't get the 5 wins.
They don't get the 5 wins.
Get like the actual winning.
They're like 40k Sylvaneth, who do the same thing. But that's just because Laurie doesn't want any of the stats to be. He's intentionally not winning tournaments so that they don't get a data, which I think is noble of him. I really respect that.
Until they change the flag.
What's everyone saying?
I don't know. We've just been nattering away.
AD, how did you get on at Blue Glory? High Par UK, Manticore. This is what people are painting. Just finished a Gatling cannon arm for a Crusader, starting on the battle cannons. Nice. So a big night. Manticore is being painted by Par, because I think he's doing a Beast of Chaos army now, which is taking all of my willpower not to start. Yeah. Is it intentional that you're live at the same time as a Hangout and Paint Rob? No, plain old Gavin, we do this every Tuesday. Sometimes it's me. Today I'm lucky enough to be joined by Chris. Sometimes I interview some people. Sometimes just whatever.
Yeah.
Just hang out. It's because I DJ tonight on a Tuesday. And so we do the whole thing. In the next couple of weeks, there should be a regular, I think there's a regular Monday now where we do the stat show for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And it might be starting a regular day show with Toby about his entry into Age of Sigmar. But I've just had a phenomenally busy 2 weeks.
It's going to be super cool, and it's not going to help me with resisting.
It's going to be, he's dead set on buying the Dark Oath War Chief lady, and I'm like, she sucks. And then I saw at the weekend reveal that there's now a Dark Oath warband for Age of Sigmar coming out for Shadespire, which isn't going to help, because it looks fantastic, and it isn't going to help him not get into it. So, yeah. Oh, wow. Look, 80. What do you think's going on, man? Like, this is the other thing as well, Chris. Like, I got a question for you, and same to everyone in the Twitch chat. Do you really think that, like, the tournament placing of someone who you respect as a gamer really matters to you? Because it doesn't for me. Like,
no. I mean, probably the person I respect most in the hobby is Toby.
Okay.
But he's not going to win tournaments.
But it's because and that's because we know his army can't.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean we don't think he's not a good gamer.
No.
Like, that isn't what stresses me out. Like, as an example, this weekend, like, Tom won with Eldar, and I know Tom's a fantastic player, but I also know Eldar are incredibly fucking good.
Yeah.
And that's not to malign Tom's performance in any way.
No.
But it's also to say that he is a very high performer with a very high performing army. Mm-hmm. So his chances of winning are just way higher. Whereas in Age of Sigmar, same thing kind of happened. Legions of Nagash won. Well, they came first, second, and third.
Yeah.
And is unsurprising realistically.
First, second, and third.
First, second, and third.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a little bit unsurprising that the army is the issue. And I'm not saying that the pilots of the armies aren't good gamers, but it doesn't, the fact that people like 80, who I respect as a gamer, didn't finish first, second, or third doesn't stress me out.
Yeah.
I know that there's a really interesting conversation as to why, as opposed to, their shit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Well, that's how I feel anyway. Because I was doing that with Seraphon. I actually.
But then it would be quite interesting to get those that are extremely good gamers to play a suboptimal faction.
Yeah, but then that's hard. It's hard because
can you outplay the faction?
Well, this is the issue. Some of the top tier gamers only ever play the top tier armies, and so I keep this conversation very close to my chest because obviously I travel the world covering games.
Yeah.
Next year I'm traveling the world covering games. I'm very excited about it. And I've played a lot of people at 40. Well, ACM 40k, and not as much as 40k, but I'd like to play more. And I would argue that I think some gamers who have a reputation for being good aren't necessarily good.
Right. Okay.
But their armies are. And making a good army choice is a skill.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's also, there isn't anywhere where that's not going to be a dangerous conversation where I'm not cussing people.
What's chat saying?
Thanks for helping me there. I really appreciate that.
Could have been really nasty then and got you to continue that.
So Par is doing beasts all the way. Par, I really want to see that army when you play it, or even play. That'd be awesome. Nights out. After much theory crafting, I'm finding AOS can be very frustrating at competitive level with how much randomness there is in it, mainly the priority. Nights out, I can't tell you, brother, how incredibly good the priority roll is. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It doesn't make it more random, it makes it better and more tactical, in my opinion. Playing around priority is one of the things you learn to cope with. Thank you, World, for to greater or lesser extent. But you can't now. The gulf between Death Daughters and Stormcast is massive. It is big. It's big. It comes down to the player. I get more rewards from the game if I do better with an unexpected army than doing slightly better with a brilliant army. And that's kind of what interested us about Harlequins, right?
Yeah. Obviously, I started them because I thought they looked really cool. I liked them when I was first in the hobby back as a weean. Yeah, you just think, oh yeah, I might be able to do something with this. And then you realise you
can't. So aptly put. Just the feelings of both of us. Yes, this is hard. This is very hard.
And I even took soup.
Yeah.
To the heat. I had some broken Eldar shit in there and I still couldn't fucking win.
Yeah, I ended up, I was going to, but then I decided against it and I just went pure Harlequins. So I just want to do this. And I didn't have a terrible time. But again, that was matchup dependent. I had an army where there was 15% of the field, maybe 20% of the field was Imperial Knights. And playing Imperial Knight all fucking weekend.
Yeah.
I played Khorne Hordes and Orc Hordes. And I was like, what am I doing?
Until my 5th game, I'd encountered one vehicle.
And because Harlequin, if you don't wear Harlequin bikers, which is what Chris set me on with, Harlequin bikers just rip through
anything with vehicle.
Anything with a vehicle keyword. Which,
by the way, isn't any Tau suits.
Well, it is the
Storm Surge.
Storm Surge.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Which is the vehicle that I came across. I didn't get a chance to shoot it because all of my guys were dead. Shit. Play Harlequins, they're really good.
They're not at the minute,
no,
so sorry. My issue with Nagash Horde Army is not that it's very strong, it's that it makes many matches just not fun to play for either side. I'd agree with that, Vulcan. Shots fired, Rob. Don't worry, I've kept them in my holster. Thanks, Chris. See, I only play weak and niche armies because there's nothing worse than outplaying a lad, and then someone blames your OP army. Then, yes, there's a touch of that. There is a touch of that. But like I've said before, there's a skill to picking a good army, right? That people know and what can do. Fucking hell, this is a cool thing. This is going to be awesome. Yes.
It's fitting better together than my Leviathan did.
And as you can see, not from China. Respect yourselves.
Mhm.
I imagine the UK Forge-World dudes are the only people that don't buy stuff from China at this stage. I don't agree with it, and I don't think you should. But I also recognise that people want stuff for cheaper, and there's nothing wrong with that. So that's the free markets in work, baby.
Which does call into question how long can Forge World keep it up?
Yeah, but you can even get the plastic kits like from Recasters if you really, really want to. Although I was looking at a 3D printing machine yesterday, I was just like, I wonder how far along we are with that, because there can't be too long until we can just print stuff ourselves. I was mainly thinking scenery, because there's an amazing scenery Kickstarter called Hagglethorn Hollow.
Are they the magnetised ones?
No, they're from...
Someone put the... I can't remember where I saw it now.
Have you seen Labyrinth?
Yeah.
So it's all of the buildings from Labyrinth, and it's the guys over at Weta and the Jim Henson Creature Workshop that are all like. So this guy has done the whole thing, and it looks amazing. And the Kickstarter's like super funded, but they're modular, so you can kind of move like the building parts. You can move around, so it's all fantasy stuff. It looks incredible. But they've said that what you're going to be able to do in the future is just buy a print and then just print it at home yourself, and they're completely okay with that. Like. Super chill with that. That's not an issue at all. And I was like, awesome, but the Kickstarter is for like the physical models in production. But they've teamed up with someone that they're just going to sell the prints, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Hi Tessa, hope you're well. Hi Moon Tyranid. I agree the priority role makes the game more interesting, more tactical, says Dr. Vulcan. Moon Tyranid, hey guys, how you doing? We're doing good. I'm all for priority role. This is Chris, by the way, if anyone's interested. That's who we're joined by. Two things I want for 40k are the priority role and alternating activations. I want both of those things too.
I'm quite excited about having a go at Night Fight with the alternate activations, because from the birthday Night Fight, that looked really, really good.
It's genuinely so much more fun.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. I think that alternating activation is just so key, and it makes you feel super invested in it turn by turn.
Yeah.
You go, I go. You go, I go. It feels a lot more visceral instead of, because even with all the will in the world,
interaction thing though, isn't it? Like you're going through and send back, turn one problems. Like you don't get that
with alternating activations.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've all got the first turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it makes stuff scary. Like Tom can hide his Dark Reapers inside those Wave Serpents for that one turn, but not that one turn, for that first couple of activations. Then they got to pop out at some point and start getting wrecked by something.
It's like, how long can you keep off that unit?
Oh my god, this model's awesome. Right, we were saying. Night's Out, I'm all for the priority role. I like it, in fact, along with my favourite time, Lord of the Rings, which uses that system. I found that I've lost a game on a dice roll. But then we've all lost a game on a dice roll that isn't the priority roll, right?
Mm-hmm. The who goes first time.
That's also true.
Yeah.
You would think Battle Suits would have vehicle keyword for poison haywire purposes, but they don't.
No.
Have you seen Dark Fantastic Mills Roll? Fantastic 3D printed series. Let's have a look. Dark Fantastic Mills. So,
is this just the chat trying to get you to go and buy a 3D printer?
I think for the studio, and for the small game, probably it'll be something to do in the future.
Yeah.
Like for Night Fight, Nikos is building all the scenery. It looks awesome. And he's doing and you guys are going to have some guides. Nikos is doing some guides for everyone for how we're doing it, because our aim is to build 40k scenery with very rarely available products that are super cheap. So what we'd like to suggest is that with a bit of elbow grease, you probably could make your own board of scenery for about 40 or 50 quid.
Yeah.
It's all big line of sight blocking, and you can do some stuff with. So that's awesome, and I'm really excited about that. But just being able to 3D print stuff that's got a little bit more detail could be cool, right?
Definitely.
This stuff's cool. Yes. I'm sure you could win that. There was an event that I went to. You could win that. Yeah, you won that at Bobo. This is the Bobo award stuff. That's fun. Oh, fantastic news. What are you doing when you buy in the shop? Did you just download it? Like paint. That's cool. Awesome. I don't know. Looks good. Whatever that may be. Hey all. Hi Wally the Bus. UK Pagan. Hello. How you doing? I still want to do a thing on it, says Room Tyranny. I've just seen the top 3 for Age on 20. Any guesses? The honest small gamer. I imagine it was 3 Death Armies. That's what I imagine it was. TJ Knuts, so they're going back to being able to sell the 3D print files. That's good news. They are, which I think is awesome. Question, what paintbrush is Chris using?
Artis Opus.
Artis Opus. Because Chris, if you guys have missed it, is a big fan of the Cult of Paint guys.
I am indeed. Done a few of their courses now, and they are awesome.
There you go. So you can't ask for a more glowing recommendation, in my opinion. I think the issue with 3D printers right now is the rate of technology advancing. At least it's my understanding that that kind of tech gets outdated rather quick. My only problem with automated activations is that sometimes you don't want to charge with, say, 2 units because the second will just get killed. I think it's...
Well, that's part of the thought process, though, isn't it?
Part of the tactics, right?
Yeah.
Which I guess is why 40k charger makes you go first out of sequence. You buy him, he prints them, says Fluxy. Okay. There's a couple of Kickstarters for 3D print scenery where you just pay for the files and print them yourself, says Dead Wildin. Okay. Yeah. I think there's some interesting things there. I think the future is we're going to be able to download and print stuff ourselves. So I'd like to maybe get in on the ground floor to understand it.
Yep.
Because it looks relatively cheap, I think.
If you're using it regularly, then I don't think it's too bad, but I think there's a limited life on the material.
Oh, what the material?
So once you start using it, you've kind of got to
go for it. Well, this is what I was wondering. I was wondering, how expensive is it? Let's say if you're looking to do like a 100-person tournament.
I have no experience.
Well, no, me either. Me either. Like, I'm just spitballing, right? Because, like we talked about earlier, I have a unique technology problem that I discussed with you earlier.
Yeah.
I think Warhammer is a unique problem. Well, all of the things that we need to achieve in Warhammer are unique problems. It's like, hey, I'd like to organise a 200-person tournament. It's like, that's fine. Get 100 boards worth of scenery. And you're like, okay, I don't have £1 million. Well, you're fucked then. But could a 3D printer and the material make it relatively cost effective? Just sit in a corner, just be like, print, go. I've got the LGT to print for in a year, let's say. Yeah.
And you can probably get models of shoes and stuff like that anyway, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, you could just go down to the local charity shop for some shoes.
3D print some tin cans.
OJ has got a question for you, and someone else has +1 this question, so it's got a lot of hype. If you were to get into AOS, what army would you get into and why?
Oh God, I don't know. I've with my computer gaming, I've always been a big fan of dwarves, so maybe some form of dwarves. The Fire Slayers look cool. I have no idea if they're any good, but then I don't generally pick armies depending on how good they are.
Which is the correct decision.
But I also quite like the Cadron Overlords. I think they look pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, compared to olden days, you've got at least 4 flavours of dwarf to pick from, which is quite exciting.
Yep. Then I kind of like the old models. I kind of like the Ironbreakers and stuff like that.
The Dispossessed.
Yeah, I think they look cool, man.
And you'd be joining a haughty group of individuals. Dispossessed Dan, Nathan, Jonathan. They're
really?
All, yeah, they're all Dispossessed players by heart.
Is that just because they've got an army they've had for donkey's years, or did they actually collect it afterwards?
They're just super committed. Like, they just like them narratively.
Excellent.
Like, is the get go, and that's why they've jumped on them.
I like the sculpts for Stormcast. I think they're nice.
The new ones, or
the new ones. Some of the extra thought and detail that have gone into them is really, really nice. Things like where you've got like the tabard goes over like the knee armour.
Yes.
You can actually see the shape of the knee armour underneath it now, whereas in times gone by, they would have just been a robe.
Yes.
There wouldn't be any of that detail.
Oh, the sculpting from Games Workshop currently is just smashing it out of the park.
Which is why I think that I wonder what's going to happen with Forge World, because the big thing with the resin models was like the detail level and stuff like that. Whereas you look at, say, the Titanicus stuff and the detail level that's in like a Warlord Titan. I mean, it's tiny, and that's from a plastic kit.
Mm. Yeah. They've definitely massively improved the sculpting on the. I mean, I keep thinking about Blackstone Fortress and a lot of the Necromunda kits, and the Necromunda kits are just smashing it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like they're terrifyingly cool. And I think we're a bit spoiled. There's just so much stuff at the minute.
Yeah. And not enough money in the bank account for it all.
But I'm quite Jones, actually. I think it's
good time to be in the hobby.
I think it's probably always been a good time to be in the hobby, because, like you said earlier, it's the people in the hobby that really make the hobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fantastic community. I'm not against it at all. Also, FYI, people are very excited that you're thinking dwarves. Kel Wally, bear in mind that the crappiest of the hobby is cleaning off mold lines. Will be a million times worse with 3D printers for quite a while.
Yes.
But we still have to do it currently.
Yep.
Even with...
It'd be easier on scenery because there'll be larger pieces and you won't be going as fine a detail. So like if you were to do like a ruin or something like that, they're going to be quite large pieces. So you could go quite heavy with like the sanding just to go through, instead of like getting your mould tool out and scraping, you'd be just going through and it's like, right, I've got an emery board or something like that, and just go.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest it for like I want to start printing Space Marines, but if I want to start printing scenery, especially particularly large scenery,
some of the stuff that I've seen, you go through and you get the steps because you've got the layers that it prints.
Yeah,
they've got a lot smaller, I think, but so it's just picking the shapes so that it makes the cleanup easier. I think would be probably the best way to go with it.
Yeah, I agree. Come on. I don't know if this is the stuff with Forge World. I don't know if that's even meant to go together like that. I'm just going to go for it. It's going to be fine. Just awkward. But look how cool this looks.
That is pretty cool.
Orcs are cool.
I like the fact that it's got damage already in it.
Well,
so like if you look on the front,
yeah,
all the damage.
Yeah,
detail,
it's already been shot at. Yeah. Ramshackle.
You don't have to take the craft knife to it or a small drill bit.
The Dwarden says, I've used 3D printers a fair bit and I'm not sure what cost-effective material you'd be using that would make scenery that last. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's all worth. Another dwarf player for the show, says Zyko. I'm literally...
Come on, the dwarves.
Come on, the dwarves. Chris, best dwarves are the Chaos Dwarves. That's right, according to the stats. Chris possessed.
Nice. There's a new handle.
Yeah, you can actually be the best dispossessed player in the world. There aren't many currently, so that really increases your chances. You could 3D print something, then do a simple cast of it, I guess. You would clean up the print once and then cast it fairly cheaply in resin using silicone molds as their minis.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be some good... Just go back. What are you building, Rob? I am building the Mecha Dread from Forge World for my orcs. No, it is not a competitive choice that I've just discovered. It's just a really cool model that I think I'd like to paint. I think I've got some time near Christmas for a couple of hours of painting lined up, and I'm getting ready for it right now.
Is that because there's no tournaments at Christmas?
That's well, apart from the night fight isn't too far away, and then we've got all the prep work that we've got to do for that, and also the LCO and going to CanCon.
Right. So nothing major.
Nothing major. I'm really chuffed with how the show's going. I think it's going to be... The guys in the chat obviously are great. You watch all the time. That's awesome. I think it's going to be... Next year we're going to do some very cool stuff. Plus, Chris, by the way, one of the few people in the world who's seen the secret project.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to cautiously inform people of what you think about it?
I'll keep it to... It looks really, really good. And I think I'll stop there because I don't want to be the one to go through and spoil the surprise.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. And you may never see me again if I do something as stupid as that.
Yeah, anyway, it's very exciting.
It is.
So I'm excited about that. So not long till that comes out either. Not long at all.
That would be cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Especially when it goes, yes, let's stop there.
Yep.
Because I'm too excited and I can't.
Moving on.
Yeah. Printing is about the quality of a printer, as with everything. As long as you spend a few quid and you get one that can print decent resolution, trained, you'll be fine. That's all it does.
Mm-hmm.
It lasts just fine. It just doesn't sit in the if it doesn't sit in the sun. Says Fleet C, talking about the 3D stuff. You can absolutely imagine the day when almost don't buy anything but simply buy the STL files and print at home. You can even print vinyl records that play. It will be the future. Yeah. So many teasers about the secret project, Rob. I'm sure this isn't October all over again. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's just part of my daily work cycle, so you guys get to hear about it because it's what I'm doing with my day. I'm sorry about that. It's what you got to deal with.
It will be worth it.
It best live up to the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a worry, isn't it? It should live up to the hype. Oh dear. Shit. Underhype it, overhype it. Who knows? It will live up to the hype. It'll be what you make of it.
Yeah.
It'll be. Question to you both: do you set yourself deadlines for hobby or just work away?
I'd like to just work at my own pace, but then I do stupid stuff like sign up for tournaments and decide, no, I'm not going to take my shit painted army. As in, the army is shit. Not that it's painted shit. It is also painted shit, but that's irrelevant. So, yeah, I generally just end up working to silly deadlines. I've got all of these to paint before December the 2nd, when I'll be going to Twisted Road to the LCO, which is Twisted Dice event.
I think you messaged me about that. I think I might be able to go. Just depends.
If you are, I'm driving. The Tobe's coming, so that'll be cool.
It would be cool.
I'll be driving, so I won't be able to drink, which will suck.
Which is a great part of the weekend, right? Just go, have a bit of a drink, have a great time.
Same with the Cult to Paint courses. We generally go out for a few sherbets and feel very, very hungover the next day. The first one I went to, the infantry course, was in Cardiff, and me and Darren Allen from Twisted Dice went out and had way too much drink.
At least that's self-admitted. It was way too much. So what's really nice about the Saturday night at a tournament on a 2-dayer is you lose the first game, yeah? So depending on how many people are at the tournament, but realistically, if you lose the first game or even any of the games on day one, you know you're out of the running to win the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Which means you can just have a really relaxing Saturday night out or a heavy night Saturday night out, whichever you prefer. And then you can just kick face and come back on the Sunday and just have a laugh with your mates.
Yeah.
And for me, that's, even as a non-drinker, that's a big selling point.
Yeah, so, I mean, LCO, taking the Space Walls, me and Toby know that we're not going through and competing for a win even before we start game one. So,
but if you did win 3 on the first day, I'd
get very drunk on the Saturday.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think there's that really nice kind of get out clause where, do you know what, you're doing. Is this right? It's not right. You've got guidelines. It should be right. It's hopefully.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's kind of the pressure being off, so you can just enjoy it.
Yes, that's what I mean.
I think what's kind of nice is the fact that obviously I've never done an event quite as big as LCO.
Yeah, 160 players, I think, is up to.
Is it 160? It's 120 last.
120 maybe. Yeah.
Last I saw, but then
I'm very excited about covering it. Don't listen. People are talking about how big I look.
Yeah, Well, you are. I am actually the size of a dwarf, so
Chris is built for speed, not for comfort.
yeah, deadly over short distances.
Grimgore, hi, it's Philippe, your last opponent at the Warhammer World Doubles Championship. Hi, Philippe. This is Grimgore. Just give you a kiss from Versailles. Oh, he was lovely. Yeah, Philippe was wonderful, and we cuddled several times. Every dice roll was very important in between rounds, and me and Philippe we were fighting on our flank, and then
I heard your report
yeah
last time.
and we would just keep rolling dice, and then we were just like, Philippe, come on, let's go over here. We'll just cuddle together. We'll just wait for the priority roll. It's nerve-wracking. That's lovely. It's lovely. We picked up some dudes over from France as well.
Yeah, international gaming. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah. It's coming loads of international events next year. It's very exciting. This looks fucking cool. Oxes are so cool.
Don't, because I'll end up starting a bloody orc army.
Yeah, I'm gonna paint these. I got some cool Forge World models for the orcs, and I'm just gonna spend some time on them and just paint them up. They're just fun. They're just wicked. They're just a wicked army. Just some of the. Anyway, we're gonna talk about that. What even is it? What even is it? It's the Mecha Dread from Forge World, Tom. So it's basically just a big can, but it's got the coolest gun. This gun's pretty radical, right?
It's a very cool gun.
Although, you guys want to see something cool? I'm also painting that.
Oh yes.
Look at this. A Night Porphyron. That's pretty cool. It's got a cool pose, right? Running. You were like, where's he running to? He's going to fucking stand there.
Yeah. But you said that he's not. He's bracing.
He's bracing as he fires.
To fire the ridiculous guns.
There you go. So. That's just awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm also going to spend some time painting that really well. I'm pretty much done, I think, with painting.
Tell me it's not going to be ready for Night Fight.
No, I don't think so. I think
I'll have to come up with a different list.
You will be present at the team championship at the 12th and 13th of January Warhammer World, where we'll come back with 3 friends. I think I might be. I think the Honest War Game is actually getting a ringer army. A ringer team.
A ringer?
Yeah. I'm hiring mercenaries from the Age of Sigmar competitive scene. We're in talks. Some of them don't want to miss the Masters. But we potentially... I'm hiring a crew of all of the dangerous Age of Sigmar players from the UK. Well, the ones who I think are good, as opposed to what other people might... Oh, that's yours. Sorry. Mr. Kapowski, hi. Are we going to be auctioning off that Porphyron to the highest bidders one day loan deal in December? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to paint it by then, but that would be cool. Yeah. Hey Rob, you, Nikos, Nathan, then give me an army the night before and tell me how to play, and we'll win easy. Talking about the team event. Don't know if we've got enough. Well, we could do it. Yes.
Have you got enough armies?
Fully painted? No. Maybe.
3 colour painted?
Yeah, got enough. Yeah. We've got some pretty cool armies. It's just amazing how big a difference, like, just the change of, like, a single, even general or a unit in Age of Sigmar is. That tends to be, like, where the tailoring comes in, like, that micromanagement of, like, different units.
But you can get that in 40k as well, though, can't you? Because of the characters act like force multipliers, so... being able to do the buff bubbles.
I really think it's all based around the stratagems at 40k. Like I said, like it really does feel like...
It does seem to have lent a bit too much that way.
But maybe just because because of how many...
I like the way they tried to solve the problem by giving us more command points.
That was about what I was about to say.
It's like just devalue command points even further.
Jesus Christ. Yes, they have. They have. So, first year of being into wargaming or Warhammer, like, what's your experience like of Games Workshop? like, and you're more than willing to say, I love it, they're fantastic. You know, you just stay how you feel. What's your experience with them as like, and how they deal with their customer base in the game as an observer?
I don't like some of the rules changes because they can so drastically destroy an army.
Yeah, so you've just bought a new army, let's say.
So, say you go through and you build a Harlequin army. Not bitter, just like... say you do go through and you've invested a lot of time and money into going through and getting a really nice Harlequin army put together.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you are semi-successful. You got to get 2-3 wins or something in a tournament or an event. They changed the fly keyword, and you know your 2-3 wins becomes 0 or 1. That sucks.
Such a drastic change for...
Yeah, so if you're significantly changing how the game actually plays, I think that's a bit off.
Yes. That's such a fast pace.
I don't like the fact that they seem to prey upon the newbies. So I'll get my, say, start collecting box, and then I'll need these paints. So the paints that you go for will be the Citadel paints because they're in the shop, and you'll go through and you'll pay twice or 3 times as much for a paint as you would if you went to another brand. Same with the brushes.
And it's arguable
just rebadged brushes that you could buy for much cheaper elsewhere, but because you don't know any better, I bought all the artificer brushes and layer brushes and all that kind of stuff, but then I learnt that there were other options, and they're significantly cheaper, and in some cases a lot better.
Yeah, it's quite, especially
some of their Citadel paints are really very good.
Yeah, but
then some of them are not so.
I'm not trying to. I don't really have a dog in the race when it comes to which paints are best, especially because just whichever I can tip into the pot easiest is my main concern.
Whichever one's got the biggest pot.
Yeah, I think really what interests me is we're probably going to be in this hobby most of our lives, and people watching in the chat probably have been in the hobby most of our lives. Like, I keep thinking, like, computer games keep popping up for, like, oh, it'd be cool to play Red Dead Redemption 2, right? It's out at the minute. But there's something that always draws me back to building something or painting something or going to a tournament. And maybe it's just that this is the thing for me. Like, some people love squash. But I think there's something about this when you get into it that you're just in and you're stuck. And that's not bad. But then having really aggressive marketing strategies that are really... what's the term they used for cash for gold sort of stuff? They had a term for it, like aggressive is not the right one, but manipulative marketing strategies. Seems to be a little at odds with wanting to keep those customers for the rest of their lives.
But I suppose it goes through and I mean, we are talking about plastic crack here.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm sure that your local drug dealer is really, really friendly and nice.
Right.
You know, and in our case, that drug dealer is Games Workshop.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does become sometimes a little bit obsessive, in the sense that, oh my god, I have to buy that. Wait, that's not my army. Okay, I bought it.
Thankfully, I don't suffer from that.
Because you've got all the armies. You're just adding to an existing army.
Yes, always, because I have all of the keywords.
Yeah,
that's how I did it. I was like, I have all the keywords, and now I'm just adding to an existing army.
So yeah, I mean, I really, really like the lore, especially the Horus Heresy stuff. The Horus Heresy stuff is fantastic.
I think that's the best thing they do, in my opinion.
I'm really, really looking forward to the Siege of Terror series, which, if you watch the video, seems to suggest that we're going to lose some Primarchs that we don't know about yet.
Ooh,
because it suggests that people will die. Well, lots of people will die, but some that you don't expect. So
it should be fun. Spoilers, because we already know how it kind of works, right? Like,
Yeah.
Because we know that bit, but it's the journey.
But the details of it and what the fate of most of the Primarchs is.
Yeah. I know this is jumping the gun a bit. I'm excited about that, same. But I'd be very excited to also find out what they do with the Scouring, because that's a whole series in of itself, right?
Mhm.
That could be amazing. So if you guys aren't aware, that's the bit. So the Siege of Terror is where the traitor Space Marines eventually fight the good guy Space Marines, good guys. Siege of Terror is this, like, is it decades long? It's at least years long siege war on Terra.
Yeah.
Between good guys, bad guys. And then eventually there's a bit after where the good guys scour the Imperium to try and clean up all of that. And it's arguable now in Warhammer 40,000 they're still doing exactly the same thing, trying to push back the bad guys beyond their bounds. But that's a pretty exciting part of story that they can do as well.
Yeah, and you've got the new Vigilus storyline, which literally just kind of started essentially, which is which started with the Tooth and Claw box, and they've just literally, we've got a planet. It's got some guys on, and now there's Eldar on there as well, and there's Orcs. It's like, what's the crack? Why is everyone after this planet?
What's on it?
Yeah. So it looks could be quite cool.
The chat. What you're saying.
Sorry, we've just been waffling away.
No, it's fine. I think that's fine. Harry Merckx, I wonder. Give Bobs and too heavy-handed, says Zyko. I think they're talking about the fly keyword. It feels like Gene Stealer Colts was meant to be out by now. Deleting their armor mechanic and making them wait months seems unusually cool, even for Games Workshop. Chris, how do you think the midterm American elections will go tonight? Don't answer that question. We don't do politics. Who asked that? Silo Wang, get out. Stop this. In Canada's case, our local drug dealer is Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister, because he's made marijuana legal. One legal weed for everyone. One keyword to unite them all, right? Here's the issue with 3D printers. Games Workshop minis are more expensive because they invest way more in paying rules designers, law writers, painters, etc. If the market falls out of manufacturing, there will be no more decent law, etc. A lot of the Black Libraries BL are shitting off without us having to rely on fan fiction development. So that's Silent Wang thing. So that's from Kawali. I wouldn't say that it's arguable, right? So they're in like a production cycle with let's look at 40k codexes.
Mm-hmm.
So they release the new game, and then they throw out all the codexes. And in some cases, the lore is just a copy and paste of the lore from the last codex. And even the art,
wasn't there?
Well, okay, even the artwork's the same on the front. and then the rules are great, don't get me wrong, and you do have to pay someone to come up with the rules, but in some cases, they're just copy and paste from others. And it's a very small team. So in the past 3 years, they've basically tripled as a business with how much money they make, which is obviously fantastic. But what they haven't done is expanded the rules writing or the narrative writing part of their departments. So they haven't improved the quality of the narrative or the rules.
So they've not reinvested back
They haven't.
into.
Well, they might have reinvested in let's say a new building or new manufacturing equipment or better sales reps. They have hired. They've kept adding to their marketing department like it's going out of business. So and they're very conscious now that marketing does actually sell stuff for them.
I mean, you just have to look at some of the sculpts and stuff that's coming through. I mean, that side of things they seem to be smashing out the park at the
Absolutely.
And the quality of the plastic kits seems to have really improved as well.
Yes.
So they're definitely invested in that side of things. But rules and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have. No, there's definitely something. The money's gone somewhere, right? Whether it's in dividends or whatever it might be. I don't know. It's gone somewhere. I don't know. It's a weird hobby, that we have to be so invested in the company just to be able to play with our toys. It's a constant hot topic. Why are they doing this thing? I don't know why they're doing it. I can't dictate madness. I also don't know where the fuck this is meant to go on this model. Look at this. It's just a picture. They like stick it on. There's an upside down view. Go on, Chris. Forge World me. There's nowhere for that to go, mate. There's nowhere. Fucking Forge World. That's what I think, but it's not. That's too far away. That's far too. Look, it's there.
Yeah, I think you skipped a step.
Huh?
Is it not so?
I've not skipped a step. Look at this. Done. Done.
It must be to attach there.
Done. I haven't skipped any steps. I've used all 4 of the pictures so far. Welcome to building Forge World, by the way. Someone should
there's another piece. The gun breech.
We need to add the breeches and the guns. That's my fault. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Read everything in one go. These aren't the breeches. I'm going to go find them now. It's fantastic. Didn't they recover the Tau art once? Same art went down to from brown to white. Did they get into those moulding machines that they couldn't turn on because it drops the electric terminal in the area? Don't get me wrong, I'm all in favour of having the community write rules, etc. for Games Workshop. At least we can pressure them into buying solar panels. I bet the recasters are pouring hot resin waste into baby dolphins' eyes. That's a good argument. Is it weird we need to be invested? I play WoW, I like Blizzard to be performing well as a company. I support Nolan Forest for it when they aren't in the papers for not paying their players' wages. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be invested. It's just when they make so many piss poor decisions constantly, I'm not too arsed after a while. Because I just like the community that I play with.
Mm-hmm.
And I like playing Warhammer. That's kind of like my key focus. A subsidiary is what the fuck those guys are doing. It's always seems to me, Games Workshop company seems very disparate internally, like multiple departments will do their own little thing. Just build the Warhammer for fun. Yeah. I just want to talk about Warhammer. I like Warhammer. That's where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. I do have to add gun barrels. You were so right. You've smashed this. This has been, now I just have to work out how they go on, and then I'm into it.
If you too would like to come on the show and help Rob build some walls.
Next up, Chris helps me learn how to paint.
I do not take on that challenge, but we may have a man that will.
Yeah, we may have a man that will. We got to find out about that, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that goes on. That is interesting. Let's have another little look. Photos specifically. You mad? Oh wait, I've done it. Cracked it. I've cracked it, gents. He's getting stressed about Warhammer FAQs like the definition of first world problems. It is, but they're my problems, brother. Like, I'm allowed to be stressed about the keyword changing to fly. It means a lot to me. And I can't care about everything in the world, to quote Doug Stanhope. I just can't.
I think we may have mentioned Harlequins enough.
You think we should never mention it again?
Probably. We've moved on.
Every 40k show.
We've moved on.
Constant. I haven't moved on. We have moved on. You're playing Space Wolves.
Yeah.
So what made you choose Space Wolves?
Well, I just really like the look. And a lot of the lore and that behind them.
Mm.
It was either Space Wolves or some kind of Khorne Berserker list, because I kind of like the idea of just smashing faces with axes.
All day long.
Yeah. It's the dwarf in me.
I mean, it's a cool army, the Khorne Berserkers.
And then when the Codex came out, it was kind of like, kind of like this. These look kind of cool.
Yeah.
Drop pods, that would be cool. So
if
you could
they were good.
So you could actually use use them as they should be. Like big drop pod assault, loads of Marines just pile out and smash face.
One of the guys in the chat the other week suggested that when they land, they should do mortal wound when they land, like in AoE. I was like, yeah, I'm down for that all day long.
Yep.
I think Assault needs... I've got to say, I find Assault more interactive. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but I find...
Well, yeah, when you get shot, you don't get to shoot back.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, you
Whereas in the fight phase, you both get to have a go. And you've got the opportunity to interrupt.
Yes.
So then you've got to think about which units you're going to activate.
I quite like it when someone comes over and like wants one of your units, but there's like 3 or 4 guys left, and you know that they're running away. But before they run away, they get to have a little dig, and just throw a little stab in, which I really appreciate.
So very nearly went through and put the God.
Welcome to my life. Know the name.
The banner guy, the ancient banner.
Oh right, yes, Primaris Lieutenant with the banner.
No, the Space Wolf one.
Oh, has he got a different name?
Yeah, which I can't remember.
Sorry,
Company Ancient.
Company Ancient, the Ancient, yes.
So on a 4-up, whenever a model dies, on a 4-up they get to fight or shoot.
Shoot again, yeah.
Very tempted to put that in anyway, because sitting with the long fangs and then someone shoots a las cannon.
Shoot back.
I get to shoot a las cannon in someone's face.
And
it doesn't have to be the model that killed it either, so, a couple of free las cannons on that night or whatever.
So you do actually get to shoot back in that particular instance, which is quite cool.
It's kind of rare though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite rare. Drop pods were usable wolves would be insane, says Rograx.
Oh yes,
which would be awesome. Feminista, I love my time with us from part-time up to manager. Took one-man store and then left when I got to the point where I wanted to slash my own wrist, says Minister, working at Games Workshop. So he had a tough time there. Can Chris host a late night on this Wargaming show? His voice is very soothing. He could play jazz in the background.
Oh, okay. Very soothing as in, I'm already asleep.
Chris, what is a decent airbrush and compressor to get without spending silly monies? Can you do it for £100, maybe $200?
Yeah, the compressor you can go through and pick up pretty much any cheapo compressor, as long as it's got a regulator on to go through and get the PSI down to a manageable level. I just use I think it was about £40 off of Amazon.
Cool.
I chose one that's got a tank, but it doesn't really matter either way. The airbrush is where you want to spend your money. The better the airbrush, the better your experience is going to be with airbrushing. I like the Harder and Steenbeck airbrushes.
They're decent.
Cold Paint. They've got their Kickstarter on the moment. You can get theirs for cheaper than the wood, but you're still talking, I think it's 160 for the Evolution, but it's a very, very good airbrush. You can get cheaper ones, Badger, but I've heard lots of bad stories with them.
What do they do wrong?
Just issues with the seals, something to do with the material that they use doesn't go through and react well if you're doing varnishes or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Trying to think what else. No, can't think of anything else. I've only ever used the Harder Steenbeck ones.
AD says he's got a Jack Russell. Is that an airbrush or a dog? Both.
Yep.
Potentially. AD was actually into wargaming when it was done with small stone men at the Battle of Rhodes in 1100 BC. But I've got an airbrush I'm going to try and do some stuff with in the future. I'm going to try and paint up my Bull Centaur Torok with an airbrush. We'll start at least do the base layers because I'd like to do a good job. Tonight's chat's throwing up an awesome side of our hobby, says OJ. Well done, Chris.
Cool.
It appears that Rob has started at one end of the hobby spectrum, with gaming being the priority, and Chris is more about the painting and hobby. These disciplines have always ended up combining, and I do love how people can take whatever they want from the hobby and meet like-minded people to share their ideas with. Warhammer.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I always found paint to be a tax to play the game.
A means to an end.
Yeah. But over time, and the more people who I talk to, the more care and attention I see with armies, I would like to do that. But then I come back to, actually, I know for a fact I could buy an army tomorrow and probably have it built in half a day or a day. Yeah, I can have it built, which means I can then play with it. But I actually, I think one of the things I'm going to do in the future is just do practice games with bases. I'm going to do a show where we have a conversation, and it's going to be a little bit controversial. But I just think...
So you could almost play test an army before you made the commitment to build and paint it all.
Because it's a big commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, like...
I have absolutely no idea how Bloodclaw is going to play on the table. Yet I've committed to building 36
and painting them.
And
that's not like... that. I'm not criticising that methodology at all. But you can see where the problem may lie. Whereas if you go to the tournament and you just don't enjoy it...
Oh, yeah.
It's like a blind date, right? You're like, this could be great, but I have no way of knowing.
So vote now on what Chris's next army is going to be.
And what I'm more mean is like, with a little bit of prep. But you and me talked about this before. Like, who's ever going to do that? But with a little bit of prep, you could be in a position where you go, do you know what? I actually know how I feel about this army, and it's great, or it's not. One of those two.
Yeah, I mean, with like for example, if I was to have a test game with Toby, if I didn't have my Stormfangs done, I could just bring something random to proxy in, and he wouldn't.
But why do you even need a model? Why can't you just use 30
The only thing
bases?
I'd say is things like line of sight. Okay, if we're playing at Warhammer World,
that's true.
There's no line of sight blocking anyway, so
they also aren't going to let you just use bases.
Yeah,
to practice with. Yeah, but between you and your friends,
actually, they probably wouldn't allow that.
No, they wouldn't allow that. But most people aren't in our position, around the world. Most people are just in their things. So I don't know. I feel like it's definitely in the future for theory crafting and just for seeing whether or not you enjoy an army. Because it's a huge jump off, and it doesn't help new people. And I'm sure older people don't need my advice.
Yeah, I mean it's the cost.
Yeah,
and if you go through and think how much does 2,000 points of even just Space Marines, it's still quite an investment.
Huge investment, but especially, and then there's all the investment in time and painting and putting it together. But my major issue is arguing. I didn't really understand what sort of gamer I was until 2 or 3 years down the line. I'm a big defensive counter-puncher, castle building gamer. That's how I play, and I am I like risk. If there's a sliding scale for risk versus reward, I'm at that crazy end where I'm just I want to try and go for it.
I can go through and potentially kill this knight, but I've got to roll 5 6s. It's on.
It's on. I'll go for it. Yeah, I'm for it. But I know that's what I'm like now, and I know that means that statistically I won't do as well as I could as if I played the odds a little bit more average, which I'm comfortable with because I like playing the way I play. But that means as a gamer, and especially as I don't like putting armies down that don't look. I think probably I could eventually learn to paint as well as you and other people, and I would like to take the time to do so, but it takes so much longer to put them on the tabletop as well. So there's a lot of pressure.
But I mean, taking out the detail work and just getting Space Marines are really, really dead simple to get on. Just get an airbrush on the go and just put some colours. If it's got a helmet on, it doesn't matter that it's thing. The only reason my guys don't have any heads on is because half of them are going to be bareheaded, so I don't really want to paint those on the model.
That's the other thing as well. I'll buy this is going to sound really silly and obvious, but I'll buy let's say this Mecha Dread. Yeah, I'll buy it and then I'm like, right, well I want to use it. I'll buy it because I want to use it in a game. I put it on the base and I'm like, right, I can do some practice games with it now and then paint it up over time. And really, I could just put a base down. spend my time painting it, build it up in parts so that it's easier to paint, and then just do a better job just because of that.
But you've got a table that you can go to and do that.
Yes, that's
like
true.
a lot of people will be playing at either Warhammer World or their own local store. Or...
We're talking like there's a bunch of guys like these guys are all over the country and the world. They're all over the world, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
So like their experience isn't our
I'm
experience.
saying like just Warhammer World, but local gaming stores. So if you turned up with a bucket full of bases,
would they
how
let
would
you?
they react?
I don't know. Question to the chat: how would they react? The Badger 2020 today's face Sotar has been amazing for me, but I also use the Infinity and it's great.
The Infinity is amazing. My 5-year-old son can use it, so it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
What was he painting the other day?
Stormcast Paladin with the Star Mace.
Yeah. Was he enjoying it?
Yeah, he loved it. But the Infinity's got what do they call it? The quick fix system, so you can basically stop the trigger from going all the way back. You can dial it in to the right amount. So it doesn't matter what it does, you can never go through and just flood the model with paint.
Cool. I got an airbrush. I'll show you later. I'm going to try and use it. Mouthful of paint and straw. I just like... Oh, wait. Games Workshop used to do an airbrush, by the way.
Did they? Oh.
But the spray cans that they do.
Yeah.
The compressor there was no compressor. What you would do is you would attach the air. They would sell cans of air. Yeah. I got sold one of those. Put me off airbrushing for years.
Mm-hmm. Can imagine.
Wally Boss, can you say more about your switch away from playing an army for a year? I loved your plan, decision to make it work, system mastery and all that. Once the fly keyword thing has changed, didn't they stick to your guns and make it work as initially planned? I'm lucky Chris is here, actually. I knew that there'd be a little bit of pushback. For Chaos Dwarves and for my Age of Sigmar thing, I'm comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But never did I think that they would make the fly keyword not possible in 40k. That wasn't a problem I expected to be thrown. And I think it makes the army untenable, specifically because the solitaires are really one of the key parts about that army, right? Like, what do you think as a Harlequins player?
Well, it just makes bubble wrap the screens just mean that you're completely dead in the water.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got, say, a knight with a line of guardsmen in front of it, you're going to hit that, they're going to fall back, and that cast iron is just going to remove all of your models.
Mm.
Because 4-up invuln will not save you.
It won't. I think actually, realistically, that it's like if I hold my hands up to the sky, it's a mistake on my part. Like I picked a very limited army book. Like with Chaos Dwarves,
you've got 8 units, is it, in that whole book?
Yeah. Like if I'd have picked Space Marines, or if I'd have picked Chaos Marines, or even just flat Eldar, there's a variety of units to choose from.
But because of the rule of 3, you can't do many different things
with the book. No,
you are literally limited to players in boats and bikes.
Yeah.
The Void Weaver is
not great.
Turd.
Yes.
But then, I mean, I was kind of sold on that idea that the Harlequins were masters of combat and it was going to be awesome. They were just going to be like a blender and just like destroy face. But it turns out they're a bit rubbish.
They are, aren't they?
And they bounce off stuff so easy. You've got very expensive AP. The strength is like 4 for the majority of it, 5 if you pay.
A lot.
And then when you have then kitted them all up, you're talking like 21 points a model.
Which is crazy, right? Like, and the 4-up invulnerable save sounds good, but the thing is
but the amount of dice everyone else is throwing just makes that invuln ridiculous because you've only got one wound behind it.
Yeah. So they just what they're sold as is they're not very. They just don't do well. And if there were other options as well, like if I could take a horde of players because there was a transport or I think one of the things 40k lacks is you can only usually take squads of like 10 or 20 of something, so like 30 or 40. They're just as an army, it just functionally doesn't really work. I would say, and again, like hold my hands up, I made a mistake in choosing that as my army for a year to practice with and get better with. Where if I'd have picked something like Thousand Suns,
I did try to tell you that.
you did, but I just didn't think they'd make that change. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it seems insane as a change. It's a core change to their rules.
Yeah, but it wasn't a particularly strong army before they changed the fly keyword.
No, but I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
like the solitaire being able to go in and do things was the key element.
It was gimmicky.
Yes, it had a trick, and I just like the idea of a year just sending the solitaire places and being like, I did this tournament, I did this tournament. Like that's really fun.
Yeah,
and if I wanted to, I could have allied in.
It's almost like Seeker Saga type thing. Going through and
my headhunter list.
What cool thing did the solitaire do this time?
Well, he did batter Magnus in one of the tournaments, which was really fun. And then went and killed Iron Man right after, and I was like, yeah. And he also killed not Logan. That's not right at all. Abaddon. Thank you. Went and punched Abaddon to death
in the middle of a pack of cultists.
in between 80 cultists. So that was awesome. So he done his job.
Just out of curiosity, how many wounds did he actually do with his kiss?
Oh, 1. But the guy took like a ton of mortal wounds from hitting me, so that's his fault. Yeah. So he did all of them. His power. Bob Monkey Cheese, what are you saying, Bob Monkey Cheese? Hey dude, what's your hey dude, wanted to Bob Monkey Cheese YouTube channel. If you ever want to go and subscribe to anyone's YouTube channel, Bob Monkey Cheese has got a YouTube channel. If you want to go subscribe to it, he's got over 11 subscribers now. Yeah,
wow.
and he's proud of that. Yeah,
I shall find him now.
Yeah, there we go. Everyone go and jump on Bob Monkey Cheese's YouTube channel. He'd love that shit. So I hope that answered your question, Wally the Bus. So I've made a mistake. I'm tempted to pick orcs instead of knights, but knights, they're painted, they're done, they're ready. Like, it's very simple, it's very easy. I don't have to stress too much. I get time to paint the orcs in the way that I want to do. So I think that's probably the way.
And the game's going to be short.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's fun. To be honest, they were good at the time, especially for the one-off scenario projects. Chris, get Daughters of Cain for AOS. They're Harlequin SQ and actually blends in the game they are. I don't think anyone could have predicted the fly change. I don't think anyone could.
I don't think Games Workshop predicted the fly
I don't think anyone did, right? Just in time for portable changes in January. You'll need portable changes in January. What for? What's going to change in January? Someone who plays a lot more AOS than 40k. Oh, Mandare, thanks for subscribing. It's hard to cook for Joe Critus. It's Mandare. Because he's a vegan now. That's an Age of Sigmar player over in the US. And Mandare's cooking for him. I'll do that. Cool. So, you got any other projects on the go? This is it for the minute?
It's all about the LCO.
All about the LCO. Can't argue with you.
So, Twisted Road to the LCO first, which is going to be the main kind of acid test for this stuff. But if anything doesn't work, I've not got very long to go through and change it. So
what are you hoping for performance wise to do at the LCO? Like, how many would you like to win?
2, because that was how many I got in the GT Heat.
Okay.
With the Harlequins, so if I could get at least 2. Not get tabled, that would be nice. I don't think that's going to happen.
What's nice in AOS is you can get tabled and win. Well, it's all about winning the gold.
If you could win just by being tabled, then I'd probably be really good.
How you doing? Yeah, I'm losing, but that means I'm winning. I'm great.
This guy thinks he's winning.
So you like to win too?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to have the army up to the standard I'd want. Otherwise, I'd be pretty much hoping for an army nom.
Okay.
But I don't think that's going to happen because I just can't. I don't think I'll get all the detail level done.
But that's what you like to eventually do. Like you like to turn up to tournaments and hope for that painting nomination for your army. Yeah, that's cool. That's a really nice goal to set for yourself.
Yeah, because I know that I've not got the most competitive faction, so you might as well try and win something.
Yeah, it gives you something else to play for as well. That's why I really wanted to. That's why I really wanted to stick with the Harlequins because I wanted to. My goal was I wanted to see what that guy could kill every game. I had this I had this constant mini game with myself, and that's a little bit. So kind of why I want to maybe go to the Orcs and just have the WASBomb and see how many Space Marine Company chapter masters I can find.
What I really want to do is to go through and surround Magnus with blood claws and just chainsword him to death. So use Emperor's Executioners to basically get Death to the False Emperor on a 4-up.
Wow.
So you're already, and then with Relic or Wolfen, you're hitting you're throwing 60 odd attacks.
Yeah. So you generate an extra. So you generate an extra 30.
So that's like 90.
Wow.
90 attacks. It's like
just get a blood claw to death. Bring down the evil man. That would be really cool. Yeah.
So that would be really fun.
So that's your target, really. That's what you got to focus on. Yeah.
Seek a saga at the end of the day.
Cheers, dude. I blushed when you read that out. Don't worry, Bob. Cheese is fine. We're all in this together, brother. We're all in this together. That's a cool target. I don't know if I have a 40k target at the minute. Maybe the Orc book's going to inspire me. I'm thinking Knights.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm thinking Knights. But I'm sat here with Orcs just I've got Orcs. I already have 90
loads of Knights, though.
Huh?
It's loads of Knights.
I know. But it's such an easy...
If you could do
Did you
it
see
with
Nikos at the Heat?
Yeah, just cool as...
He was just how's your game? It's I ain't got to really do any work. It's so easy.
I've had my 2 games. I've played about 25 minutes.
Yeah. I'm just chilling out. I'm not stressed. Hi, Tristan. How you doing? Orcs would be cool. Plus, I got all the Megans painted.
Can you make them into tractor cannons or whatever they're called?
I've already got a tractor cannon. I've got 6.
Because they seem ridiculous.
They've improved. The point cost of the guns have gone up.
45 points or something for the
tractor cannons. Yeah,
tractor cannons.
I like the mega cannons, and now they do better than they did before, where they now do D6 damage as opposed to D3. So, but they got more expensive. So they're 27 points before, now they're 60. Right. But I'm still fuck yeah. And you can't use the grots as screens, but that's fine. But I still for, you take a unit of 6, what's that, 183, 60. Take 360 points worth of, so that's 66 shots. Hit them on 4s, fine. Wound on the strength 8, -3, doing D6 damage.
But if you did it with the tractor cannons...
That's only against fly stuff. That's only against fly stuff.
It's auto hit everything.
Is it?
There's no hit rolls.
Oh. No, I'm still against it. I want more shots. Plus, I'm an Orc. And they've got Daka as well. So any 6s to hit generate more hits. So I'm already hitting shit. When I played the list once at the Heats, I'd move my guns forward and everyone would be like, oh, you're going to be -1 to hit. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I was going to hit on 5s and 6s. I'm a fucking Orc.
Yeah.
Well, a grot at that point. Tristan Gray, congratulations. Tristan's had a baby, a little grot war boss. What is that baby's name? I think it's a boy because it's a war boss. Although a girl could be a war boss if a girl wished to be.
I think he went to and put up a pic on Discord.
Did he?
Yeah. Lehman is a great name, by the way.
Rob's also a great name. Congratulations. Oh my god. can't see him. I want that little bubba in the chat.
I think it was under something weird like the Hobby Hangout or something like that.
You can still use Grotz screens, but
Felix, very nice, mate. Congratulations.
Oh, nice. Oh, wait, you can still use Grotz screens, but now they can't be targeted. I get it. You can put within an inch. I have read the War Scroll data sheet, sorry. So I can put within an inch of my gun, and now you can't target the Grotz, so you can't actually physically get to the gun. That's abusive. Cheers, Ace. Appreciate that. Maybe it's orcs for me. Plus, it'll trigger people.
Yeah. Thanks, Ace.
You got anything you want to say to the guys before we go, Chris?
Not really.
No.
Tried to be nice about Space Wolves.
I think you were good about Space. Oh, being nice about them.
Yeah.
You're talking to Tom specifically. Well, maybe we'll talk to Tom. We'll have a word with him. We'll say, "Look, Tom, rein it in," and he'll probably go, "No, I must be true to my art."
Or help me make them awesome.
There you go. There's your challenge, Tom. Yeah, make Space Wolves great again. That's the challenge. Maybe I can make orcs great again. Maybe they're going to be great.
I think the Codex might be doing that.
To be honest, I don't think I'd change my list. I've read the Codex. I won't change my list versus what I had like a year ago. It would just be, I think it's about the same because everything went up and down points wise. So just like 12 mech guns and a bunch of boys. But then nothing else is good. I want the Gorkanort to be good or some cans. I don't think they are.
Or Stomper.
Stomper's so bad for boys. Have you heard that? Have you read that?
No.
It's
like 800 points or something ridiculous.
Of dog shit. It's like so fucking.
How shit is it like compared to like a Tau Supremacy suit?
As shit. I think maybe it's a bit like, you know how the Earth's flat. Mm. It's a bit like how you just fall off the edge at some point and you're just unrecoverable, in my opinion. You just
basically, it's something to look nice on your battle board when you put it in the cabinet.
Yeah. You put it as a centerpiece, and then like you bring your Roma battle board your display board over to your table, and your opponent's like, "Oh my god, I'm playing a supremacy suit." Like, no, he's just.
Someone joked about going through and using a Mastodon from Forge World. Yeah. It was like, it's turd biscuits on the tabletop. It's like, yeah, but it was awesome in the cabinet. It's like going through, it's like, that's a 300 quid model just to go through and put my models around. At some point, it stopped being a joke and became like,
I'm going to do this. Actually, by the way, I've used that in a competitive game.
Really?
This is like just after the launch of 40k. And I played a Blood Angels guy, so obviously this is way before their codex and stuff as well, but it did good. It was a Death Guard one, and I won. I won the game. But that was a Games Workshop mission as well. But it's like, it does 5 damage. Its gun on top does 5 damage to flyers. It's still too expensive points-wise.
And if I remember right, it's got no invuln.
No invuln.
Got void shields or something, which don't seem to be that effective.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. Yeah. It's really. Maybe if you could put it's really
I wanted
bad.
a Spartan. I think the Spartan looks ace.
Spartan's awesome. Spartan's really cool.
Especially those laser destroyers, whatever they are. You just go in there and it's just like completely dick and night.
But do you know that they don't sell it with the laser destroyers?
No.
You have to buy them separately, which is a fascinating.
But it's like when you go and buy your Leviathan.
What? But you got to buy the guns.
Yeah, it comes with no arms.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say about the Spartan is it never had the option to have a laser destroyer ever. So you buy the bag, and it's got your quad las cannons. In Heresy, it's quad las cannons. Mm-hmm. Never a whisper of a laser destroyer array in the history of a Spartan assault tanks production. And then the 8th edition index book comes out for Forge World. It's like, do you want to add a laser destroyer to that? And everyone's what the fuck is that? I don't know if you can buy them. I think you have to buy a separate kit and get them.
I don't know. I'll have to have a look into
that. Mamdale's getting a little bit worried about the voting over in America. It should be fine, I think. Do you think it'll be fine? They're voting to see if they want to come back into England. They're doing reverse Brexit.
Yeah.
That's what they're voting on. Yeah. Would you be okay with the Americans coming back, or are you like, no?
They seem okay. I like their food.
But I like their food too.
Bit of barbecue, can't beat it.
All right, do that one. Right, okay. Should we go? We're going to go. We have to go. You got anything else you want to say to the dudes before we finish?
No, you've been awesome.
You've been wonderful. You've done really well. Are you nervous, or are you chill with it, or are you okay?
Mainly because I've had to stop painting because my hands are shaking a little bit.
Well, you know why? You're cold.
No, just a little bit nervous. I don't really do this.
What, the people?
Yeah.
You've done really well. I wouldn't have known you were nervous.
Jolly good.
You've done fantastic. You took the questions really well.
Well, I'll try.
And no one was rude to you.
No, that was good.
Apart from Tom, probably. That's what I said. Tax the T. He says, right here, I think laser destroyers are in the Typhon kit, but they may be single lasers. I don't think they are. We did a review on them, and I was like, you've done great, by the way.
So you'd have to, convert those, then, to...
You have to buy an entire separate tank, and then get them off that, I think.
Like that.
And then that tank then has no guns.
I suppose you could magnetise it.
Look at Zen Minis. Look, you were awesome. There you go. So they've enjoyed having you. But also, you got asked to do your own show.
Oh, yeah. Just so they could get to sleep.
I think you did really well. Plus, your painting, you've done good. I've just made a mess. I've done this. You also helped me build things, which is pretty key. Look at this.
So just announce the new show. I'm going to be reading the Horus Heresy out.
I would honestly watch that. Chris, this is page 4. Rob, cheers for the honesty about the Harlequins. Great job, Chris. No problem, Wally the Bus. I'm
Thank
sorry. Chris Roston, evening. Bob Winchie, you did awesome. You looked a little bored of hearing Rob, but that's normal. There you go.
That's just my normal face.
Come back sometime soon. Yeah, come back. We'd love you. If you ever want to come on again, you're more than welcome. I actually, as we were talking, I was like, this would be great. I loved having you on to talk. So just more of this in the future. Plus,
I'll be up for that.
We can chart your
descent into madness.
Well, but also your course to the LCO.
Yeah, man.
Where we can make you super nervous and we can have you play the first game at the LCO on the telly. You ever played on the telly?
No.
Imagine it's like playing a normal game, but 200 to 300 people are criticising your every move.
We just said that this will be my third tournament. I haven't played the second one yet because that's the road to the LCO. So yeah, okay.
It's fairly challenging. It's fairly challenging. The only thing that ever happened, which I'm a little bit... So, Warhammer Live once, we were doing an Age of Sigmar tournament, and we put a Lariel who'd just come out, not come out, but had a Lariel army versus another army, and then they played, and the Lariel guy lost on the very first turn, before he'd gone, because he just deployed awfully. Yeah, and he just lost his entire army. And then, we all, so we went to the holding screen. Everyone was like, what are we going to do? We've got to fill 2 hours. Yeah. And they were like, Rob, you need to go up and show people how you don't lose. Yeah. And I was like, okay. Because they were really upset. So I just went up and we just re-racked the game. And then I had to commentate. And also, I'm okay at playing Warhammer. I think I'm okay. I'm not this top tier god at Warhammer, and I don't think that I am either. But I was I'm pretty certain I could not fuck up like that guy. But that was a little bit daunting because I was just okay, everyone in the world's watching. I'm representing the company, yeah. And I was like, okay, you're a competitive game with your army. I've got this army, and then we just deployed. But I had to tell him what I was doing because I was telling the chat. So I was like, so this unit over here as a fake, yeah.
Here's all of my secrets as I'm putting them down.
And what went really well, and then I just got into it. And then it was turn to that, Rob, it's time to go to a commercial break, or go to the break. And I was just like, no, let's keep playing. Let's roll. Let's go. I can win this game. But that was a little bit stressful, yeah. And there you go. OJ says, cheers for tonight. Rograx, my entire army is dragons, only 1 elf. Don't know what that means. Don't take elves, can't be trusted, says Bob Monkey Cheese. Don't know what that means, but also sure. Anyone think Grot's got the Interstellar Tower will be in the Battle Tome? I don't, but that would be cool. Great minds, evening speckles. All right, you've done great, Chris. Although you do look. Is your chair lower than mine?
I don't know. I think it's just that
there we go.
I'm smaller than you.
We'll just do that. We'll do that next time we're on. Yeah.
I'll bring the booster seat out the car.
It's been lovely having you on. I'd love to have you come back and paint.
Yeah,
maybe next time you can teach me to paint something, or probably not. I don't know. I'm not wonderful at painting. But so if you guys want to, OJ, thank you for the bits. Woohoo! If you guys want to follow Chris, again, I'm going to type it in the chat. If you want to follow him on Instagram, and I'm sure you would appreciate that and you'd enjoy it. That's who you're searching for. I've written in the chat. It's Serbitor, Serbitor. So go check him out. Chris, thank you for being on.
Cheers, man.
You've been brilliant. Dudes, we've got to go now because I got to to work. We'll see you soon. Don't forget we're here on Thursday. We get to hear about Nikos and Tom and Tom's success at the Blue Warrior 40k event, and we'll be talking about orcs and the Orc Codex and whether or not it's going to be good. I think it is. You guys, great. Have a nice. Sorry you were late,
guys.
Michaels. See you soon. Bye.